Good day, dear friends. In the face of rising threats, political unrest, cartel activities, and enemy agents like those tied to the main CCP marijuana grows, our neighborhood watches depend on the strength of volunteers, not strict orders. Today, we cover gear selection and use, a vital tactic to equip us for vigilance and resilience, inspired by America's enduring spirit of personal responsibility. Gear is your extension, practical tools for observation and safety, chosen with respect for loose structure and earned competency. Start with minimums. A high-vis identifier like a sash or band for visibility without intimidation. A substitute for uniform that creates professional camaraderie, safety for visibility, and easy identification for locals to know you are legitimate and supposed to be there. A universal color, such as yellow or orange, along with reflective stripe works well. Skip logos and such that go beyond immediate needs, require excessive financial commitment, and might create legal liability if anybody in the group were to do something stupid. Carry an LED flashlight, rechargeable for reliability, serving multiple purposes: navigation and positive identification in low-light areas or times, blinding and disorienting threats, and safety and visibility. The ideal combination might be one or more lights that provides very low lumens for moving without excessive disruption of night vision, and another very high lumen for disorienting and providing a photonic barrier to threats. You'll need a credibly claimed 1000 lumens plus to achieve a reliable photonic barrier, which makes it impossible for an attacker to see you behind the flashlight at night. A major benefit if they have intentions to hurt you and are armed. Lights are an item that should not be excessively skimped on, as really cheap lights are unreliable, and really cheap high-energy batteries are a fire and explosion hazard. Introductory brands include offerings from Streamlight and Olight. Expect to spend $20–50, with higher-end lights such as Surefire, Cloud Defensive, and Modlight being ideal if affordability is not a problem coming in at $100 and up. If a budget absolutely must be stretched to the max with minimum expenditure, a basic, cheap LED flashlight running on traditional AA or AAA batteries is less hazardous than super cheap rechargeable lithium-ion. Whatever light chosen should be an EDC style, capable of being stowed in a pocket for easy access, so no spotlights unless a specific mission calls for that. Include a knife or multi-tool for utility, from scraping out a splinter to opening a box, and it should be tough, usable, not a pristine display piece. And a multi-tool is a good choice for versatility, be it helping screw on a license plate or cutting thin metal or string. Best to avoid super cheap and aluminum models, as steel holds up better. Leatherman is a good brand for most uses. Carry pepper spray, tailored to your environment, and you should carry a larger-sized, perhaps Mark II, can if possible, because you get more distance and more uses. Being able to spray a dangerous dog at 25 feet is a big improvement over 5 feet if you make the wrong choice. Depending on your needs, and primarily on wind conditions, you might opt for a fog, a stream, or a gel configuration. It would probably be unwise to carry fog, or even stream OC in wind-prone areas. Also, practice with your OC. Purchase a cheap OC trainer device that matches what you intend to carry, and practice deploying it from wherever you will carry it, at a dog figure drawn onto cardboard. Of course, OC can also be useful against human threats, but it is usually not the best choice. Include weather-appropriate clothing and footwear, e.g. boots. Meeting environmental and use variables and military surplus can be a big money saver here. You might get a strong performing set of Dana combat boots for half the cost and twice the longevity of the latest lightweight synthetic Under Armour boots on eBay or a surplus outlet. And it's tough to beat Dana's 1200-gram insulated Gore-Tex lined offering for super cold northern environments in winter, even if they do weigh a bit more. That said, be mindful of your activity level if you're in a very cold environment, as sweating from overdressing can be far more of a risk to you than getting a bit chilled from underdressing. On that note, if you don't want to just take the day off on those cold, rainy fall days, you're going to want a solid poncho. Again, Mil Surplus is often a good choice to save some coin, but there's lots of good options on the market from Helicon Tex, Snugpack, and so on. Even a Frog Togs will get you by if you're not putting your life in its hands, and a comms device like a cell phone. Function check before every patrol. Know your state's laws on pepper spray, capacity limits in some places. Best practices build on this. Add a strobing light for night signaling, extra batteries, a map and compass for navigation. A map and compass should include basic topographic, hyperlocal map if there's hills or mountains present, simple road map, and a simple compass. These items might become a greater necessity or necessitate additional details in genuinely remote locations, or locations easily cut off from logistics. Include hydration solution, if chosen due to mission variables, tailored to the mission, and might be a simple water bottle or a 2L plus hydration pack with backup filter. For your average neighborhood watch and route, it's probably sufficient to hydrate normally, and you won't have to tote along extra poundage in water. Add a whistle for alerts, gaiters and gloves. For gloves and gaiters, the former is an absolute necessity in most environments, if only because you might find yourself needing to handle something sharp during a patrol. Gaiters may not be necessary walking suburbia, but in rural trails it would be a big improvement in comfort and saving your clothes from rapid wear, and they can be very useful as minimalist snow attire if you don't want or need full waterproof, ECWCS-style pants. Binoculars for distant observation. A binoculars or monocular in the 3.8x range is going to be sufficient for most, and exceeding that magnification will make it difficult to observe without excessive shaking from an unsupported position. These days, optics glass at the 10 to 20 price point is going to exceed the performance of the higher-end stuff from a few decades ago. Though, your mission might require something more, and therefore might also require equipment or know-how in stabilizing or establishing an observation post. Sunblock DEET permethrin for bugs, and a small UAV for recon. A UAV is not an absolute necessity, but given today's prices, it's a major force multiplier for a small outlay. The biggest circumstances that might negate that advantage are if you happen to know your neighbors will definitely take shots at it if they see it. It's best to avoid problems that are predictable. Drone-wise, it's hard to give detailed advice, especially with potential bans of major brands looming, but look for something with at least a one-axis gimbal, so you don't get motion sickness looking at the camera image, and something with a camera on par with or better than a camera phone, such as a roughly 1.2 sensor, is good enough for most daytime use. Low light use introduces much more difficulties and requires at least a nearly one sensor to get images worth looking at. If you stick with something under 250 grams in the USA, you can get away without some of the more onerous requirements placed on their use. Of course, if money is no object, it certainly wouldn't hurt to have a combination thermal and visible light with Zoom drone, but that'll set you back a few thousand and comes with a steep learning and legal curve. Additions, all highly mission-dependent, could include strobing lights for nighttime identification, hydration pack, entry tool, seatbelt cutter, expanded IFAC, thermal monocular, pyrotechnic signal, and so on. As threats evolve, from modest nuisances to low-intensity conflict, scale up, transition high-vis to uniform tops like Tiger Stripe BDUs for cohesion and IFF, echoing Rhodesia's Celis Scouts, who used simple, multi-use gear for bush ops. In guerrilla contexts like South Africa's modern defences, volunteers adapted tools for autonomy. Your multi-tool becomes a lockpick or repair kit. Binoculars spot scouts from afar. A unique insight. Use AI for gear optimization. Input your location and threats. It suggests kits based on terrain, e.g. waterproof for river areas, and local laws, e.g. drone restrictions, drawing from Ranger Handbook loadouts adapted for civilians. Tech elevates. Apps track inventory. AI analyzes photos of your kit for maintenance reminders. This grows with us, from deterring theft now to defending later, with patriotism guiding our duty. Reflect. Assemble your core kit. Share your setup below. Next, we'll cover communications. Farewell for now.